Okay, I want to draw your attention to certain events that are happening against Iran. Now, I think this is crazy stuff. Now, the articles that I'm posting on Facebook are incredible. I'm putting them on morning, noon, and night. So get on my Facebook, darrellawson.com, click on my Facebook, my Twitter, my YouTube videos, and pass this on to people around America and around the world. People need to know the truth. People need to know that the wars that are going on and the one that is trying to go on right now against Iran is bogus, is a lie, is a cooperation with the Israelis, with the Vatican, with the British, with the Americans against Iran for no good reason. I'm telling you. Listen, if you study who put the governments in Iran for the last several years, last decades, it's been the CIA. Go do a search on the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency. I call them Catholics in Action, CIA. Why do you say that? Because the Vatican runs a lot of political stuff in America and around the world. Go do it also a research on the Jesuits. Yes, the Jesuit order in the Vatican. Did you know? Well, I know from a lot of research that I've done over the years. For years and decades, I've done research on the Vatican, on the Jesuits, and the background of this organization. And I've come to find out that the Jesuits, the order of the Jesuits, are sent around the world to make sure that the plans of the Vatican come to pass. All right? They're the hit man, the hit squad for the Vatican. I tell you, like the mafia. You don't believe me? Yes, go read about the Vatican and how the Vatican is a mafia type organization that money launders around the world, that their banks are wicked and evil, and basically the Vatican, the British, the Americans, the Israelis run the drug cartels around the world. You know, the illicit drugs that are going into America and every country on the planet, it's run by these countries. And the Jesuits are sent forth to make sure their plans come to pass, or they will do a hit piece. They will take out the people one way or another from the positions that come against the Vatican. They'll bring in women. They'll bring in financial bribery. They'll actually take them out with assassinations. Listen to me. Go do your research. The blessings that you have right now are abundant because we have some freedom left on the planet, and one big freedom is the World Wide Web, right? The internet. And so they really want to close it down, the Illuminati, the One World Order. They want to close it down, but not yet. So you and I and everyone on this planet still has the opportunity to search the web and find the articles and the news articles and papers and information that you can still get, that you don't have to listen to the Nazi propaganda media in America and some different countries of the world that are controlled by this wicked regime, these players, these dark side of these governments. I want to get back to Iran. I haven't forgot about Iran. I want to talk about Iran a little bit because I'm posting articles on Iran this morning and today and yesterday, and about the scam that's happening, about the warmongering that is deceived the people of America and the people around the world. Now, I've read articles yesterday and today about how many so-called millions of Christians have been taught for years that they need to support Israel no matter what. Right now, pray for Israel no matter what. Witness to Israel about the love of God, the Messiah, Jesus Christ. But you and I and so-called believers, Christians here and around the world, are not supposed to support wicked regimes, wicked governments on the planet. I tell you, I've been posting stuff here on Facebook and YouTube videos and articles, Twitter articles that I've been putting on Twitter and all these communication areas, social networking, that's proving that Israel is not what it seems to be. Did you know that hundreds of thousands, millions of Jews in Israel and around the world disagree with the Israeli government? They call it Zionism. They say, we do not love Zionism, we love Judaism, right? Zionism is that the government can take all the land it wants, kill anybody that they seem that's necessary to them, to kill anybody around the world, to set up some kind of Jewish government around the planet, and climb the ladder of corruption and do whatever they have to do in killing and destroying and deceiving people on the planet to set up some kind of Jewish government in Israel and around the world. That's called Zionism. It's a corrupt government strategy that Jews around the world don't agree with. Jews in Israel by the hundreds of thousands, millions, Jews in United States by the hundreds of thousands. Go look at my videos that I post on there. I posted some videos from 1980. There was a rally of Orthodox Jews in the state capitol in Washington, D.C. And that's amazing how they were back then. Was Menachem Begin in power then? Yes, and Reagan. And they were saying, the Jews were saying, we don't agree with the policy of Israel, and we don't agree with the Zionism that Israel is pushing in Israel and around the world, the corruption. It's amazing. See, you and I understanding the corruption in Israel and in these governments I mentioned is not anti-Catholic, is not racism, is not anti-Semitic, is not anti-American. It's anti-corruption. Now, the reason why I think Obama is going to get reelected in America is because a lot of the so-called believers or Christians, they say 40 million Christians have been hoodwinked, I say hoodwinked, into believing the propaganda of Zionism. Now, the word Zion is a good word from the scripture, but Zionism is a word that is the deception of an Israeli government pushing deception and death and corruption around the planet. And a lot of Jews, listen to me, a lot of Jews for years have said no to this corruption. Go look at it. I put videos on my Facebook last night, showing Jews burning the Israeli flag. You know, the Star of David, the nice blue and white flag of Israel. They said the Orthodox Jews, all in Israel, in New York and around America and around the world, say we do not believe that Israel should even have a government or push Zionism or even the state of Israel until the Messiah comes back. They say, according to the Torah, the Jews are not allowed to have this kind of Zionist government and state of Israel. Oh my God, I started listening to these Jews, and they're not just one, two, they're thousands, hundreds of thousands. I was watching videos last night about Jews marching through Jerusalem by the thousands. Orthodox Jews, rabbis, their children, and they were saying, we do not support Zionism. We do not support even the state of Israel, because they say in the Bible, in the Torah, in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, they say, and in the writings of the prophets, that when the Messiah comes back, he will set up the Jewish state of Israel and have the government. So they say, according to the Torah, it is not legal for them to have even a government or the state of Israel. And see, they said this is the reason why, because of this corruption, because of their Zionism, these Jews are saying about the Jews and the state of Israel, they say that's why we're bringing the Middle East into turmoil. That's why we're bringing a backlash with all the Muslims around the world. My God, did you know that the Iranian president allowed and invited a whole bunch of rabbi Jews to Iran, and the Jews apologized to Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. They apologized to the Iranian leader for Zionism and for the corruption in Israel. Go look at those videos. Just do a YouTube search, Iranian president and rabbis, and you'll see the meeting where the Iranian president is hugging and kissing the Jews. I love it. See, this video here just solved the world's Middle East peace process. You don't need the Antichrist Obama to settle it. We just settled it right here. The Jews against Zionism. See, I love it, and I tend to agree with those rabbis and those Jews. You know, the more I study the scriptures, Old Testament and New Testament, the Jewish Bible and the Christian Bible, because some of the Jews don't like the New Testament, all right? But I study both the Old and the New Testament, the Torah, the Pentateuch, right? And all the prophets, the Psalms, anyways, the writings of Moses. I study them all, and the more I read personally the scriptures, I tend to agree with those rabbis that are against Zionism, because it doesn't make sense. They're putting their corruption, they're killing the Muslims, they're not loving God and loving their neighbors as themselves, right? There's only two laws: love God and love your neighbor as yourself. And all the rest of the laws flow together in those two laws. So if you love the Muslims, if you're a Jew and you love the Muslims, they're going to love you. The Bible says whatever you sow, whatever you plant, you're going to reap. So if you sow corruption, you're going to get corruption. If you sow terrorism, you're going to get terrorism, right? Exactly. If you sow hatred, you're going to get hatred. So we just solved it right there. Now, the Antichrist Obama will come into Israel, as he's doing right now with his troops and with these false fake wars, and he will set up a false peace program there in the near future through his deception. But don't be fooled by this. He will set up a 7-year peace process, a false peace process with the Jews, and try to solve the Middle East peace area, the peace negotiations, the whole peace process. He'll come to try to save the Middle East, but he's a liar. He will renege on his promises. He'll make a peace treaty for 7 years, and then in the midst of 7 years, he'll come against the Jews anyways. Obama hates the Jews, all right? I love the Jews. I love the Muslims. I love the Hindus. I love the Sheebie-Weebies. I love everybody. I love I love the Catholics. I love everyone. Now listen, but I don't have to agree with them. When I see corruption, I will say it like it is. Now go, and I said all that to have a foundation, because I want to read you some articles and set the foundation here so that you will understand where I'm coming from. Now, there's a great article on Infowars.com about Santorum. It says he wants to eradicate the Muslims, and it's a really weird article against Santorum. Now, don't vote for Santorum, people. Listen to me. Don't vote for Newt Gingrich or Mitt Romney. You got to be kidding. You want more wars? You want to lose? I mean, Obama, I believe, is going to get in anyways, okay? Because I think there's too much division and too much ignorance in America, and the media, too many people have drank the Kool-Aid, the media Kool-Aid, and can't get their act together, all right? And they're going to allow Obama somehow to get in anyways. Obama's going to bring deception like he always does. They're going to do the voter fraud thing, that they're going to try to get people fragmented on this whole Zionism, Jew, anti-Semitic stuff. It's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. Listen to me. The only person that you need to vote for is Ron Paul. Ron Paul will at least bring the issues all the way to the election. And he will give you information on the Federal Reserve being evil and all this corruption, this warmongering, which is not biblical. It's not politically good for the country, etc., etc. So, yes, I believe Obama will get back into power because of his deception, because I believe he is the Antichrist. But we must still resist and bring the truth up all the way to the elections and beyond, because light must resist the darkness always. That's our job on the planet. Now listen, go read the Santorum article here about how many